Okay, so I have a note on my phone titled Procrastination, and I just really feel like I want to share it because it's helped me, and I also highly recommend the Now habit for helping with understanding why, of like the various reasons why we procrastinate. I feel like that's also key, but I have this like step-by-step list that I look at when I find myself procrastinating. So, here you go. If you're procrastinating right now, I guess just it's kind of like a step by step. So I'm gonna put everything in the description below. But I would say, I know I have a tendency, like when I watch videos like this, like don't actually do the thing the person's recommending because I want to just watch the video. But so maybe like watch it once through, but then go back or go to the description and actually do it, because you're gonna need to be in that state of like presence with yourself and not just listening to me. That's gonna be important. So you'll know what I mean once I start going through. Or you could just pause the video when I say like take a deep breath or stop and sit still for 10 seconds. I'm not gonna do that in the video, so I don't know why I need to explain it in that much detail. Here we go. Okay. Go slowly. I like this because it reminds me to just like stop. Like just stop. Just stop. Just stop. Stop what you're doing. Stop thinking. Stop thinking about all the things you have to do. Stop thinking about the hard decision you have to make. Whatever it is, whatever reason you're procrastinating. Go slowly. You're procrastinating because what you're envisioning is too far from where you are right now. You need the smallest step possible. Focus only on the here and now. All future is imagined. So I know the state of mind that I'm in from reading this. Like the reason that I wrote this is I'll be in this state of mind thinking about all the time, the hours that I have to put in for work or the huge task that I have to do. I have that tendency. And I know some people don't. Some people are really good at like seeing the next step, but I'm always, not always, a lot of the time I am thinking like big picture and like higher view of whatever it is I'm setting out to accomplish. In fact, I even remember driving by skyscrapers and thinking like, oh my God, how do they build that? Like not, so silly. One, thinking there was like one person doing it. I was a child. One, thinking that's like one person that just builds a skyscraper. Okay, no, that's not the case, obviously. But I just remember having thoughts like that a lot of the time as a child, like gosh, like how does that get accomplished? Like, because I would just see the end result. I didn't see all the in between small, tiny little steps. Like there is literally anything that has ever been accomplished has been accomplished through one tiny little step at a time. So I think knowing that just immediately kind of takes off that pressure of like, okay, this is gonna get done. Anything that I have to do is gonna have to be done that way through small little steps. Okay, so next, stop what you're doing and just be still for like 10 seconds, just 10 seconds. And acknowledge where you're at. So sometimes I would avoid acknowledging that I'm even procrastinating. So just basically say out loud or just think to yourself, I am procrastinating for a reason. And the only thing that I have to do right now is understand that reason. So it's not about putting yourself down, beating yourself up, like let all that go. That's just an added layer that doesn't help whatsoever. So that's the only thing. That's your only task right now, is to understand why you're procrastinating. And what's really important, I find, is don't move to the next step here with what I'm about, like all the steps that I'm gonna outline. Don't go to the next step until you really feel genuinely ready. Because I feel like sometimes procrastination comes from this place of force, like this habit of forcing yourself all the time. At least this is what I've found. And you get to a point sometimes where you start to rebel against that because there's a deeper part of you that wants more balance in your life, that wants more play and more fun, more creativity, more whatever, and you're pushing yourself too hard and an aspect of you is rebelling against that pushing. So I think that's important too. At least that was important for me. So Don't go move to the next step until you genuinely want to. So be easy with yourself. Okay, and then with palms facing up, take a deep breath and exhale very slowly. Or sometimes if I'm like in an agitated state, I like to do one of these. Sexy. And then just do as many deep breaths as you want until you feel the urge to continue to the next step. Next, do some stretching of some kind. Personally, I love neck rolls. Neck rolls feel so good. Oh, so tight. Just this side's always so tight. Hands above your head, behind your back, some down dog, whatever you like. Next, begin to create some space between awareness and thought. Notice your thoughts. Notice that you have a choice of which thoughts you give your attention to. And then when your mind has calmed down, move to the next step. So I would say you might want to take a little bit of time here just to like calm your mind. 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you feel inclined to do. Then once your mind is calm and you feel ready to move the next step, what is it that you believe you should be doing right now? What's like the one thing that you keep trying to start that you're not starting, that you're maybe feeling bad about not starting, you're beating yourself up for, whatever. What's that one thing that you feel like you should be doing? Why do you think you should do it? So I think that's helpful to know, to go back to the reason. Sometimes we get in this like automatic, like robot-like state where we're just accomplishing tasks and we kind of forget why we do some of the things we do in the first place. So I think personally for me it's been helpful to know, okay, I've made a promise to somebody, or this is what earns me money to afford to live in the house that I live in and drive the car that I drive and have the things that I have, do the things that I do. Do you absolutely have to do this thing? Sometimes if it's really something you don't want to do, you could delegate it to somebody, you could hire somebody, you could push it off. Maybe you're imposing a deadline upon yourself that doesn't need to be imposed. Do you want to do? Do you have to do it, and do you want to do it? And really being honest with yourself about that. And also seeing it as a choice is really good instead of something, an obligation, like you have to do it. Anything you do is a choice in your life if you want to see it that way. You can see it as an obligation, but you can also see it as a choice, and it usually feels better to see it as a choice. Is there a new way you could approach it that would bring ease and joy? For example, when I'm working, I tend to work from the same spot, the same position, the same place. And sometimes it's nice to go like, I'm gonna go to like a coffee shop. Maybe I'm try a new coffee shop. Like change it up. Are you procrastinating cleaning up the house? Try something different. Like do something different. Make it a game, put on music, ask somebody to help you, like just get creative. Think of possibilities. Are you overwhelmed by multiple choices? I wrote this specifically for me. This might not apply to you, but this is where it's important to understand why you're specifically procrastinating, because some of this stuff doesn't apply to some of the reasons someone might be procrastinating. I personally tend to procrastinate on decision making because I feel like there needs to be a right answer, which there doesn't need to be. If you feel like you have to have the right answer, that's impossible, and that's why you feel so horrible, because there's no way to know what is the right. There's just a choice and then the consequence of that choice. And if you're making that choice based on the best possible information that you can find, then there's no reason to feel tense or anxious, because no other human being in the world has the ability to know what an outcome will be once they make some kind of decision or take some kind of action. So you have an idea, so you're kind of taking your best guess, so you can like release that pressure off yourself, knowing there's like technically no right choice. I'm sure some people would argue with that, but really it's just how you see it. There's just action, and then cause and effect. So whether you place a negative meaning on the effect is up to you. So are you overwhelmed by multiple choices? Or maybe you're overwhelmed by the number of things that you have to do. Sometimes that's the case for me. I'm like, I gotta do this, 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 and this. So if that's the case, just like write a numbered list and then use a random number generator to pick a number, or order them alphabetically and start working your way down the list, or pick the smallest, easiest one. That is usually huge. Like, just do the smallest little thing that you can. And take a break in between each one. So make it fun. Like, that's one of the other things I feel like. Make it fun. Make it fun however you can. Because we don't procrastinate on things that are fun. So if you can make it fun somehow, do that. Okay. And lastly, did you start? Are you doing it now? Have you turned this video off? If you have, you're not listening to this part. If you've started, great. If you haven't started, great. That's fine. I think that's important to release yourself from. So many times I would think that I had overcome procrastination, and I would find myself procrastinating, and I'd feel so frustrated. And then I would remember each time it's slightly different, and by taking a step back and understanding why you procrastinate, you learn more about yourself, and you learn more about what works for you, and you might come up with like really creative ways of accomplishing things that you can then also share with other people, especially when it comes to things that like a lot of people don't like doing, like cleaning. I love cleaning because I learned to make cleaning fun and enjoyable. So if you didn't start, great. Just more to learn, more to understand. It's just more to discover. So again, if you haven't started, just sit with yourself. Notice how you feel. What are you feeling? What are your thoughts about that thing or the things that you have to do? Understand them. Pay attention to what's happening within you. Breathe more fully, more mindfully. Go do something else. Sometimes that's the key. I'll give you some examples. Take a nap, watch a movie, get a snack, take a bath or a shower. These are all things I like to do. Read a book, stretch, walk, call someone, organize something small, tidy up, do laundry, do a guided meditation, pet a kitty cat or a dog if you have one. Give yourself a manicure, watch something funny or cute, ponder life, daydream, visualize. What are you most excited about right now? And go do that thing, whatever appeals. Like, that list could go on and on. Make it specific to you. And I think sometimes once you get like a little, like if you go do something else, usually for me it's tidying up my house. Like if I just start like tidying up around my house, I get that energy moving, like I said, and it starts that momentum, and you start to feel better, and then you feel like an actual desire to do the thing. I do not recommend forcing yourself to do something that I just don't recommend forcing, because it just sets you up for it takes more energy to force yourself to do. So it's actually not energy efficient at all. I think like conventional wisdom would say like you should force yourself, you should be more self-disciplined. And personally, I have come to find that is silliness. Because life then just becomes about like things become a means to an end, and that's like not the point. There's no destination to get to. There's only ever this moment, and all of the fun and joy is to be had in this moment, not some end destination where you can finally have fun or finally like make everything fun, make everything enjoyable, and you'll have so much more energy and accomplish so much more. But it's not about accomplishing so much more anymore. It's just about you feel more satisfied, you feel more fulfilled. So that is what I have learned about procrastination. I still find myself procrastinating at times, way less than before. And I have to say, as time went on and I would continue to like come back to this note and I would follow that process, I kind of would loosen up the old like patterns of thought that would stop me, like fear of making the wrong choice, thoughts about like not having enough time, when you look more closely at those types of thoughts, you come to see that they're not really true. But you have to be willing to look. And so I think that the overall, if I could say there's an overall key to beating procrastination, it's not about beating it, it's about understanding it. So don't try to overcome it, don't try to beat it, understand it. And again, I recommend the now habit, because that will help with understanding the various reasons why. It will bring light and make you more aware of the reasons why you procrastinate. And then when you go through this list, you'll be more informed and it'll be easier to understand and figure out why you're procrastinating. So I hope that was helpful.